My name is John Dignan, the son of James Patrick Dignan. Our family is so proud of our dad. We want to make this tribute to the best father and greatest grandfather in the world. Our dad, James Patrick Dignan, was born on October 24, 1941, to Alice and John Dignan. Joining his oldest sister, Aunt Helen, my dad was soon followed by Aunt Joy, Joy Baby, at 1310 College Wood in Ypsilanti, Michigan, a city in which he would reside for the rest of his life, with the exception of 1 year in Memphis, Michigan, as a newly graduated teacher. They say Dad was active, quiet, and a curious child who would often take apart toys and dolls to see what made them work. Mom tells us that she wishes he had learned more about how to put them back together again, as that could have come in handy around the house later in life. Dad explored his neighborhoods on bike and on foot, and because he was always had an internal sense of direction, literally, and about his purpose in life, would never get lost, especially at dinner time. As a young boy, Joy and Helen teased him about looking like Howdy Doody, but by his late teens, he was a Hollywood handsome and, according to rumors, a real heartthrob. Dad's lifelong passion has been education, sports, helping kids and his family. He excelled in 3 sports all the way through high school, playing baseball, basketball, and football for 4 years at St. Thomas in Ann Arbor. In addition, he was the tennis city champion at 16. Dad went on to play football and baseball at Eastern Michigan on scholarship, where he also excelled. Dad was very popular at Eastern, especially with the Arm of Honor fraternity, which appointed him as Lord High, Go Hammerheads. He valued many of his friends in the fraternity, especially Don Besselo, Larry Hawkins, Gary Davis, and Tom Prier. But let Larry Mackey or Eddie Mazinski walk into a room, and he would light up, start laughing before they even opened their mouths. After college, Dad moved to Memphis, Michigan for 1 year to teach and coach, but was lured back to Ypsilanti to teach at East Middle School and become an assistant coach in both football and baseball at Ypsilanti High School, where he eventually became a social studies teacher and football and baseball coach until his retirement in 1996. At 20, he helped Jim Burrell and Hal Wilson coach the National League Baseball, winning championships throughout Ypsilanti. Dad's coaching career ran over 50 years and garnered many accolades, including Coach of the Year award by the Ann Arbor News, City Council and House of Representatives citations, and the pinnacle of every coach's dream, the 1986 state championship for Ypsilanti High School in baseball, which he and his team may be inducted to the Ypsilanti High School Hall of Fame this fall. That'd be the second time for Dad to be inducted into Ypsilanti's Hall of Fame. Dad's coaching record and impact were legendary. Many parents would say that he was part of the menu every night at dinner, as their sons would reference some topic and declare, Coach Dignan says. His coaching career resulted in the only state championship in baseball for Ypsilanti High School in 1986, and was followed after retirement by coaching football with me at Lincoln High School and at Willow Run, and later helping longtime childhood friend Brad Bush at Chelsea and Go Bulldogs, and his good friend Mike Collette at Belleville, Go Tigers. The Ann Arbor News referred to him as the Dean of Coaches. During all those years and in various positions, he was a teacher first, then a coach. After every game, he wrote letters to his players, praising them and telling them what they could do to improve the next time. He always had a motto: you either get better or worse, you never stay the same. I'm so proud to say that Dad has taught, coached, and made a positive difference in the lives of thousands of young boys, and more recently, spent hours behind the scenes to work with Jake, Luke, Jonah, and Brendan to hone their baseball and football skills. He also worked with Sienna and Ava on their basketball skills, and he tutored Jada when she joined our family in math and reading. His patience when teaching all ages is astonishing. When not in the grandkids' presence, he would spend countless hours writing up tips on everything from having a proper batting stance to keeping your eye on the ball, ensuring all his grandkids knew and practiced basic fundamentals of football and baseball. Dad was inducted into the Michigan High School Football Coaches Hall of Fame 8 years ago and into the Hannah Center 70 Over 70 Hall of Fame as an unsung hero for all of the work he's done with youth throughout the past 5 decades. And Dad has kept his eye on the ball his entire lifetime. He's never lost sight of the important things in life like faith and family. He's the kind of man that inspires everyone to be a good human being just by example. On July 25th, 1967, Dad was weightlifting with his future brother-in-law, unbeknown to them at the time, Tom McPhillips, at Bob Oliver's apartment, where he walked in the kitchen for lemonade. Mom tells us she almost dropped the pitcher, felt like she was hit by lightning, and remembers thinking, I could change my mind about getting married. So smitten was she by his looks. He obviously felt the same electricity, telling her just hours after they'd met, I'd like to marry you someday. I think you'd make a great mother for my children, and that's exactly what happened. Since Mom was living in California that summer, they only saw each other 3 times, the 4th time they got engaged and the 5th time married.
I guess you could say that it's all because of you. If anyone should ever write my life story, for whatever reason there might be, ooh, you'll be there between each line of pain and glory, 'cause you're the best thing that ever happened to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me.
They just celebrated their 54th anniversary on April 19th, 2022. On July 12th, 1970, Mom and Dad became proud parents for the first time. That's the day I was born. Mom says that Dad and I were inseparable, going together to sporting events, the park, and running errands. Yes, those were the days before car seats, so I would stand in the middle of the front seat with Dad behind the wheel. 2 years later, I would have to give the front seat up to my baby sister, Cassandra. Dad was ecstatic to have a little girl. My sister was born on April 21st, 1972. Cassandra always said she was born 2 days after Mom and Dad were married, conveniently leaving out the fact that was 4 years later. Mom says that Dad was the only father in the universe who excelled in changing diapers, pushing buggies, and playing with his kids every night when he got home from work. Dad is a special kind of husband and father, happy to watch the kids' nights Mom had to work or attend school. He did the housework and even sat in on her classes at the University of Michigan and took notes for her when she was out of town during in-service or presenting at national conventions. He promoted her career throughout their entire marriage, taking pride when she received special honors. He called her Double Dot and bragged about her many successes in the educational field while downplaying his own. On October 6, 1981, our family welcomed a 3rd child, James Patrick Jr., or Jimmy, who only lived 5 months. Jimmy was born with multiple severe disabilities. Doctors predicted that Jimmy would be a failure to thrive baby, so they were shocked when he tripled his birth weight in 5 months. But the only sense Jimmy had was a sense of touch, so we held him 24/7 and was cherished by all of us. Dad and Mom told us we were the best sister and brother ever, holding and loving him constantly. That Christmas, the priest who baptized Jimmy asked our parents if we would let Jimmy be Jesus in the children's mass because he represented everything Christ came for, and before they could answer, Cassandra piped in and said, but no one else gets to hold him. So she and I were Joseph and Mary.
He ain't heavy, he's my brother.
At his funeral just 3 months later, we all held him for the last time while the church sang, "He ain't heavy, he's my brother." This was a sad day for our entire family, as Jimmy will always be in our hearts. Although with us only 5.5 months, he helped us remind how precious and fleeting life is. Dad's favorite times and memories all involved family. Dad loved to travel with his family, but it wasn't until he had a family of his own that he came into his element, going as far as England, Ireland, and France, always eager to get back home to Ipsy to regale his friends with his experiences. Vacations were times where he could relax, enjoying being with his favorite people, his family. Places were special only because of the ones who were with him. Whether it was Hawaii, California, the Bahamas, or up north, Dad loved showing his kids and later his grandkids the wonders of the world around us. Dad is a man who is liked by all, respected by many, and cherished throughout his life as a man who represented the best there in all of us. He's a man who lives his values. Dad was a devoted son, calling and checking on his parents every day until their deaths in the late 1980s. He took them on a trip of their lifetime to Ireland. My grandfather never went a day afterwards without some reference to the trip when we were in Ireland. He was a proud Irishman. My father is a devout Catholic, an altar boy as a youth who never missed church on Sundays until COVID hit in 2020. His is a simple faith accompanied by exceptional kindness for both man and animals. His mantra is, if one of us would complain or gossip about someone else, he would always say, take care of yourself. And if you were ever a friend, you were a friend for life. He's a hard worker with a good sense of humor and an honest, intelligent man. He loved being with friends and looked forward to breakfast with my Uncle Bob, even when it was his turn to buy. Uncle Bob and him became even closer after they both retired and joined Planet Fitness, but they rode and ate lunch every day for 35 years. Although we all thought Dad excelled as a father, it wasn't until he became a grandfather that we saw he had an even deeper feeling, loving man. He retired partly to babysit every grandchild from the day they came home from the hospital until they began their first day of school, except Jada, who was a little late in a special edition. My dad would drive for 2.5 years to Farmington Hills, Michigan, even in deep snowstorms when school would get canceled. I don't know how he did it, but he always found a way because he wanted to make sure that me and Rosanna were not late to work and that he was there for his grandchildren. And his attention didn't stop there. He coached them, attended all of their events, making him not only a father of the year every year in our affections, but grandfather of the century in the eyes of all that knew and loved him. Dad has been a real fighter against complicated illnesses since 2008. Through it all, he has been a real trooper on the phone and in the stands to cheer on his beloved kids and grandkids. Your whole family wants you, Dad, to know how much you are loved and how grateful we are that you are our husband, our dad, and our grandfather. And as many Hall of Fames there may be, in our lives, you are number one in the Dignan Family Hall of Fame. You will be in our hearts forever, as we know we will be in yours. Dad, I thank you for being my best friend, being a mentor, a teacher, coach, the best man at my wedding, but being the greatest father that anyone could ever ask for.
You always walk a step